My name is Billy Ballingy. I'm a former school board member here in Cedar Hill. As most of you may know, Cedar Hill Independent School District has 4 propositions on the ballot for the November 8th election. There seems to have been some controversy as to the effect that those propositions would have on our property tax rates. And I thought I might try to clarify that just a little bit. There are 4 of them. The first proposition is a request by Cedar Hill ISD to increase the ad valorem tax rate. In fact, that is the way that it is worded on the ballot that you will receive, an increase in ad valorem taxes. That's called a tax ratification election, to increase the tax rate. And the voters have to approve that to allow them to do it. The other 3 are for a total of over $215 million in bonds. Bonds can be used for new schools, for roofs, for buying property, for a variety of things. They're very similar to a mortgage payment, where a district takes out debt, they spend that money, and it has to be repaid. For them to take out that amount of debt, they have to collect that from the taxpayers by state law so that it is clear to taxpayers. They are required on all bond propositions to tell voters that this is a tax rate increase. So all 4 of them. The first one is an increase in ad valorem taxes, and the third specifically says this is a tax rate increase. Now, some have tried to imply that the tax increase is very nominal. That is not the case, and it is not the case per Cedar Hill ISD's own documents. You can find on their website an independent audit done by Whitley Penn, an audit firm. That is now in statute to have such an audit done before you can have a tax rate election. So their audit only dealt with that portion of the 4 propositions, which is proposition number 1, the tax ratification election. They concluded that if the election passed, if proposition 1 alone passed, that for a tax levy on a $300,000 home, now the average market value of a Cedar Hill residence in this coming year is $325,000. But for a $300,000 home, if proposition number 1 passes, it will increase the property taxes for every $300,000 by $312 a year. So proposition 1 alone by the district's own accounting firm will increase taxes by $312 a year. You then though have propositions 2, 3, and 4 that would be on top of that $312 per year. That is covered in CHISD's own notice to the public of what their tax rates are going to be. This is prescribed by Texas law. It's something they're required to do, and they are required to publish it, and it is on their website, as is the Whitley Penn audit that you can find on the Cedar Hill website. The notice of their tax rate and the public hearing about it provides this, that the average market value of Cedar Hill residences is roughly $325,000, and that if all 4 propositions pass and they get the tax rate that they would like, that average taxpayer would pay an increase of $736 per year. Now, if your property is worth more than $325,000, you would pay more than $736 a year in increased taxes. And if you are a business, then they don't get a homestead exemption like our homeowners do, and they would pay even more than $736 a year for every $325 that their business property is worth. These 4 propositions, every one of them, increase the tax rate, and substantially. Our property values are increasing. I can't say that everybody's property is increasing, but most people in Cedar Hill, the value of their property has increased. It does not make rational sense that there'll be virtually no increase in what people pay for taxes. nor do the Cedar Hill ISD's own documents support that. Now, you may think that the amount of money that you are paying in additional taxes is worth it because of the way Cedar Hill has spent their money in the past and will in the future. And that's a legitimate position. Or you may not think they have done well in handling our money in the past, or don't like their plans for how this additional money will be used, and therefore choose to vote against it. Both of those positions are legitimate ones. The position that, in my opinion, is not legitimate is that the tax rate increase will be minimal. Thank you very much. I appreciate you listening.